I have so many things in my mind that I want to ask him, but without line or structure. So we will see how this journey results. This is how I always describe my interviews, as journeys, unexpected journeys. And today is going to be Mario Vargas Llosa. How are you, Mario? Hello, Milagros. Welcome. I appreciate your time, and I know that you have a very busy agenda in Peru, but I appreciate the time that you're going to give me. I would be able to explain why it is not so easy that I give out an interview. It's because I am asked for so many interviews that if I accepted every interview, I would have to dedicate my life to give these interviews. So I have no other choice that to create all kinds of obstacles, and you have several walls of contention. I have to defend my time. I have the secretaries, and I have basically Patricia, who is the principal wall. Now it is clear to me that the line is very long, and mostly after the Nobel. Definitely after the Nobel. Before the Nobel, everything was easier, but Nobel is a real nightmare because it exposes you to a curiosity which is practically universal. So you have to defend yourself, and my way of defending myself is not give all the interviews, but just a minimum portion of these interviews. Yes, I appreciate that it is in plural, because it gives all of us that are in this line the opportunity. Yes, and it has to do a lot with the circumstances, because I have just published a book, so the pressure of the editor is very big for me to give interviews regarding the publishing of the book. In other cases, it's political situations, very special. I try not to intervene much in politics, even if it doesn't seem true. But I get involved when I think it's really important things that are worthwhile pronouncing myself on this topic, in favor or against. The interviews that I give, which are very little in comparison to all of those that are requested, they have to do always with a very special reason for me to give the interviews. Do you remember a particular interview that you had with special appreciation or surprise? Well, of course, I did a lot of interviews because I have earned a living as a journalist. But the one that impressed me the most, and which I was very intimidated when I made the questions, it was an interview in 1963 in Paris for French radio television, where I worked, to Borges. I admired him very much, and I had a deep intellectual respect for him. So I went to see him, and I felt immediately intimidated to make questions to him. And I even remember some of his responses, very funny responses. One of the questions was, Borges, what do you think about politics? And he said, it's one of the forms of boredom. Another interview in which I felt also intimidated because of the enormous admiration I had for the person. Also in Paris, for French radio television, was Neruda. Neruda. Really, I had read him since I was a child, and a universal person. And besides, he was an impressive presence. He was very big. His eyes, he had semi closed. It seemed like he was falling asleep in front of you. So basically, I whispered my questions instead of pronouncing them directly, because I was so intimidated by the myth, more a myth than a person. And now that you are a Nobel Prize winner, is there any other person that intimidates you? I can't help to think Mario Vargas Llosa has all doors open. In every place that he goes in this planet, he can go to any government palace. He can talk to any president. He can talk to any writer. He can talk to any intellectual. So you can walk peacefully. You have a mythical vision about Nobel Prize winners, but you are mythical. Is there any person that intimidates you? Well, of those alive, I would have liked to interview Mandela. I would have felt the same shyness and inhibition that I felt before Jorge or Neruda.